Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 16 of our 30-day watercolor flower project. Today, we are painting bluebells. Bluebells, there is just something about them. They're so fun. They have a big, long, curvy stem, and then they have bell-shaped flower petals that are coming off this main stem. So think of a bell shape, and then when you get to the bottom, there's kind of these little frills, these pointed edges. So we are going to paint this bell shape with the pointed edges all along down the stem, and then there are little tinier stems coming off the main stem to connect to the flower. We're also going to layer some of the flowers behind so that it looks a little bit more dimensional. If they were all perfectly in a row along the stem, it would look really flat. So we're going to mix that up a little bit. We're also going to add a few buds towards the bottom and then these beautiful long leaves that bluebells have. To start, we're going to grab some sap green and mix it on our palette. We're going to use the very tip of our brush to create that long, curvy, classic bluebell stem. It's kind of like painting a rainbow, but instead of fully connecting to the other side, we're going to stop about 3/4 of the way. I'm mixing the color for the bluebell using some ultramarine blue and purple that I had already mixed up on my palette. If you look at a reference picture for bluebells, they are a wide range of colors. They're not just blue. They have lots of highlights and light blue areas. They even have bright pink areas as well. So our goal is to get this nice blue lavender color. So when you paint the bluebell shape of the flower, we're going to think of a long-ish oval, not quite a circle, for that main section. And then as we get to the end, we're just going to sweep a couple of points off. I did 3 for each of mine, and it kind of looks like a skirt, a little frilly skirt at the end of our oval. I'm giving some space from where I'm painting the bluebells and the stem because there is that tiny little curvy stem that comes off the main stem to connect each flower. So I don't want them touching the main stem at this point. As I'm layering the bluebells that are in the back, I'm maintaining a little bit of white space between the flowers so that there is distinction between the different sets. I'm also painting them a little bit higher because they're in the back. So the ones in the back do end up kind of touching or overlapping that main stem, but that's perfect. It gives the visual representation that there are different layers and heights to the flowers. Now I'm mixing more ultramarine blue into our mixture to get a higher concentration, darker pigment, less water, and I'm adding that to the base and kind of to the side of our bluebell flowers. If you look at a reference picture, bluebells are actually darker towards the bottom and they have lighter ends where those little tips are for the skirt. Now that I've got my main bluebells centered and I can see where I need to add more, I'm going to add a few more to the grouping to even it out and make it feel more balanced. But I'm really leaning into the hard lines for the coloring on these bluebells and not rinsing my brush and smoothing it out. Just to give a little bit more definition and interest to the bottom of the bluebells, I am adding a tiny bit of that contrasting color, kind of to give a little bit of a shadow because they are a bell shape. There's a whole center and second layer of petals behind the little skirt that we've painted. Now I'm rinsing my brush really well and picking up some more sap green, mixing it with my current mixture on the palette, and we're going to create the little stems that come from the main stem and attach to the flowers. I'm bringing the stems up and over just slightly so they have a distinct and lovely curve, which provides a lot of movement, but not so high that it looks too dramatic. Again, I'm using very light pressure with the tip of my brush. I'm going to create a few flower buds here. If you leave a little bit of white space, it looks like a natural highlight. And then I am pulling the leaves down to the base of the stem to create a very long, thin leaf. I'm going to let the greenery completely dry, but now I'm picking up the original light purple blue color and I am swiping that back on top of the bluebells. So I'm leaving some of the original color as the light tone, and then I'm now layering that color again on top to create a medium tone, and then we will, of course, add even more dark tones on top of that. Now I'm picking up some of my deeper yellow color, my gamboge, and I am just going to dot that at the bottom of the bluebells to give the idea of the yellow stamens that are coming out of the center of the bell of the flower. I'm not doing too many, maybe 2 to 4 tiny little dots with the lightest pressure using the tip of my brush. Next, we're going to use our rosy pink to add a fun pop of color to our bluebells. If you look at a reference picture, there is a lot of pink purpley tones in the bluebell, so we want to kind of bring that out by layering just a swipe of this bright pink color. It gives a lot of depth because it brings out even more purpley tones by layering it on top of the blue. Then we're going to pick up more sap green in a higher concentration so it's more pigmented, less water, and we're going to add depth and shadowy colors to our leaves, to our flower buds, and at the base where the little stems are attaching to the flowers. And with that, our bluebells are finished. So we now just need to add it to our watercolor flower guide in the day 16 spot. I think this is such a great addition to our flower guide because it gives a lot of texture and movement to our bouquets or anything we want to paint when we're adding flowers. So it's just an all-around great flower to know how to paint. Thank you so much for being here today while we painted day 16, the bluebell. I will see you all tomorrow for day 17. Bye.